Hey, ACA Executive Vice President Cody Burkham here with you on Friday, January 13th for our first installment of our 2023 Hats on the Hill Legislative Update. It was a big week here in Little Rock this week. On January 9th, the State House and the State Senate gathered together to meet for the 94th General Assembly here in Arkansas, and it has been something. They have opened the doors and are ready and for business. They've had the organizational meetings, and they're going to take off and get going here. So we want to, like I said, want this to be our first installment. We'll try to do these every Friday morning or Friday afternoon. If things run late in the week, it might be on into Saturday morning before we get these put out. But we do want to make sure that our members and people that are interested in the cattle industry and legislation that will be impacting them at the state legislature are kept up to date. And this is how we do it. With our Hats on the Hill series. So with that, let's get right on in it. Like I said, they met January 9th, the House and the Senate did, to open up their business. And on those days, the House, over on their side, they elected a speaker, Speaker Matthew Shepard, who is serving really an unprecedented third term as the Speaker of the State House. Representative Shepard is from down in El Dorado, and he seems to do a very good job. The state legislature really likes him and likes the way that he handles the rules and the appointment processes there on the House side. So he has got a third term as Speaker. So congratulations to the Speaker of the House, Matthew Shepard. A couple of committees that we're really going to be following this session also received who their chairman would be. Over on the agriculture side, the chairman will be Mr. Jack Fortner, Representative Jack Fortner from up in Marion County. And Mr. Fortner is a resident, I believe, right outside of Yaleville, and just a really, really solid guy. We really enjoy working with Representative Fortner. He has been a very, very good advocate for the Arkansas cattle industry and the Arkansas Cattle Association. In fact, whenever I go to Marion County, when I make it up to the county meetings up there, he is always there. It's always good to see Representative Fortner. He is a cattleman himself. He did say here the other day that he had sold his herd simply due to the time constraints that he knew were coming at the Capitol, and didn't feel like it was fair that his friends and family had to take care of his herd while he was in Little Rock. So he said, but as soon as he was done, at his time during the Capitol and serving the state of Arkansas, that he intended to get right back in the business. So we have a great friend there in Representative Jack Fortner at the helm of the Ag Committee. Also this year, we're going to be watching and hopefully sending several bills through the Revenue and Taxation Committee. And that's going to be a very, very important committee this year. As many of you may know, the governor, Miss Sarah Huckabee Sanders, has announced that, she is really making it a priority of her administration to take a look at different tax regulations across Arkansas, mainly the income tax. And so we know that's going to be a very important committee. But we have a couple things that we're going to be working on throughout the session that will go through tax and revenue and tax as well. And the chairman there in that committee will be Mr. Les Eves. And Mr. Eves is also a great friend of the Arkansas cattle industry and the Cattlemen's Association. He has served on the Ag Committee for for several sessions now, I guess I should say, and just a great ally and advocate for the cattle industry. And so we are just super, super glad to see Representative Eves take the chairmanship of the Revenue and Taxation Committee. Had some good conversations with him here just a little bit earlier this week, and just really encouraged about his leadership of that committee. And those pieces of legislation that'll be going through that committee, we'll keep you abreast of as we get those, as our sponsors get those introduced, and some of the good things that I think we've got lined up for our cattle producers on the revenue side. Just a couple quick numbers here for you about the makeup of the Arkansas House. This year we have 26 new members. If you'll remember, there are only 100 members of the State House, so 26 new members. You have over a quarter of the House that are brand new freshmen. Hey, they have now had their first full week, and I bet their head is spinning. In fact, I know it is, because several of them have told me it is. So we want to wish good luck to those 26 new members. And we've made contact with a lot of them, but still have a lot left to go, educating them about the industry here in Arkansas. But there are a number of those members that are very aware of the cattle industry here in Arkansas, that are cattlemen themselves, ACA members. We always like to see that. And so we just look forward to working with those new members to help them in any way we can in dealing with the cattle industry here in Arkansas. So 26 new members, 74 returning members. I think the longest serving member there is starting their 7th term, so they're starting year 14. This year we have 9 farmers in the house, or those that's the way they gather the majority of their income through farming, and so that's still pretty high in the house. I think the only occupation that is higher than a farmer, I think we have 9 lawyers that also tie with the farmers, and then we have 10 either educators or former educators. So having 9 farmers is certainly encouraging as well. The age range at the house side is anywhere from 27 to 81. So you want to talk about some life experiences, you can find it between the age range of 27 and 81. That is certainly encouraging that we'll have so many different age and life experiences there. One of the big things, that is certainly considered encouraging for our Arkansas State House is we have 26 women serving in the Arkansas State House of Representatives this term with 74 men. So that's a little over a quarter of the House are our ladies that are serving there at the state capitol. And hey, let me tell you, we have some of our strongest allies for the cattle industry in Arkansas are certainly our lady representatives, our female representatives, and such great advocates such as Representative Deanne Vaught and Senator Missy Irving, and just 2 ladies that really do a great job for us there. Over on the Senate side, they also organized and came together the same day, January 9th. They elected Senator Bart Hester as the President Pro Tem of the Senate. Senator Hester hails from up in northwest Arkansas, has been there several sessions now, certainly understands the ins and outs of the Arkansas State Senate. Certainly comes from a portion of the state that is very heavily involved in the cattle industry and knows what the cattle industry is about. So we certainly wish the best of luck to President Pro Tem Bart Hester as he undertakes this. I think he'll do a great job. We really look forward to working with him and seeing how he leads the Arkansas Senate. There are 13 new members of the Arkansas State Senate, which I'm not a historian. I won't say it's unprecedented, but it is very unusual to have over. There's only 35 members of the state senate, so to have 13 is you have a huge new freshman class there on the state senate, and these are men and women that many of them are serving their first time in elected official capacity. Some came from the state house, some came from certain quorum courts or things like that, but there are a few new faces that have never served a day in elected office. And so I know they are having a trial by fire right now, and so we certainly wish luck to those 13 new members. On the committee side, our Ag Chairman once again for this session is Senator Ronald Caldwell, and Mr. Caldwell has certainly been a great advocate for us, and he was the chairman last session, and certainly helped us out a lot whenever it came to our state meat inspection bill. He made sure that whenever that bill went through committee that it was well vetted and very well thought out, and we appreciate his leadership. Always a great leader there, Mr. Caldwell, and we look forward to working with him. Over on the revenue and taxation side, obviously, if we're going to watch it in the House, it's got to go through the same committee in the Senate. And over revenue and taxation, chairman this session is going to be Senator Jimmy Hickey from down in Texarkana. Senator Hickey just recently passed the gavel as President Pro Tem over to Senator Hester. He served as the President Pro Tem for the last 2 years. Certainly a member there that has some institutional knowledge and history in the state Senate. Has been there several sessions now. Strong leadership abilities in Senator Hickey, so we look forward to working with him and the Ag and Revenue Tax Committees on the Senate side. Of course, we'll likely to work with others in other committees, but those will be our 2 mains. Just real quick on a couple bills that have already been filed that we're interested in and going to be looking at and working at on getting some support for. HB 1003 is a bill by Representative Mayberry and Representative Garner. And what this bill does is it creates tax credits for beginning farmers and ranchers. And hey, let me tell you, as I go around the state and visit with people they say, Cody, we've got to have some help for our young farmers and ranchers. Succession planning, whether it be in cattle or poultry or row crop, is a real thing. And, these tax credits are part of that. And we've got to get, better ways at the state level to encourage our young farmers and ranchers to take that step, to make that investment, to get out there and be part of it. So that starts over on the House side. And we're really going to be watching that really close and helping where we can to get that one before Revenue and Tax and HERD. The other one is Senate Bill 5 by Senator Ricky Hill. That's a name you've heard many, many times here from the Cattlemen's Association. He and Representative D.N. Vaught, another name you've heard many times here, have teamed up on this. I call it the Vet Telehealth Bill. And essentially what it does is allow our veterinarians to be regulated under the same rules for telehealth as human patients. And so they have established in the last several sessions telehealth regulations for humans, but that has not been done for our vet services, and this bill would allow that. So we certainly support anything that would get more veterinarian medicine and health care out to our rural producers. So just a couple of the priorities that we're going to be focused on here at the Cattlemen's throughout the session. Like I mentioned, tax. It's about tax this year a lot. We're going to be working on some tax issues that we saw come from the drought of last year of 2022. We know there was a lot of herd liquidation and some declines in our herd numbers, consolidation with there. And so what we'd like to do is create a tax break for those people that had to either liquidate or cut down the numbers on their herd. That way they could have some time to reinvest that money instead of immediately making it a taxable revenue. Give them a few years to be able to reinvest that back into their operations, whether that be cattle or some other means, as more of a tax-free status. And so that's one big one we're going to be working on. The other one is some tax benefits and some tax break on some other livestock equipment. Don't want to say more about that right now because this still is in the very beginning of the planning phase on that portion of things. But be looking for that and more updates on Hats on the Hill very soon about that. One of our other priorities is our fencing laws here in Arkansas. If you know anything about our fencing laws here in Arkansas, they're very antiquated from the 1930s. And if you look them up, what you're supposed to do with cattle that might be roaming at large or horses or donkeys or any other livestock, it is extremely antiquated, extremely confusing. And so we're working with the Department of Ag and other interested parties as to the best way to go about updating our fencing laws, but making sure that we're walking that fine line because we realize, as cattle producers, from time to time, cattle get out, and so you don't want to punish an accident, but if it becomes habitual, certainly have things that need to be done there on the landowner and the cattle owner's side. I think we could all agree that is just responsible husbandry, and we all appreciate that. So those are just a few of the priorities. Of course, we'll have more, and we do have more, and we'll talk about those in some future upcoming Hats on the Hills. But just wanted to bring you the very first one, give you a little background, and let you know what was going on this first week of the 94th General Assembly. We are very excited about the things that are happening at the state capitol that will benefit the cattle industry here in Arkansas. But not only are we excited about what we're going to try to do for the cattle producers, but you can rest assured that we're going to be there on the defensive too. We are keeping an eye on the bills that are being introduced, and if we see that a bill is introduced that is going to affect our industry and harm our industry in any way, you can bet that we'll be there to get that legislation killed as well if we can. And so with that, we're going to wrap it up. I hope you have a great weekend. Be looking for more of these Hats on the Hills coming, like I say, every Friday, maybe Saturday mornings, but hopefully Friday afternoons. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a great weekend.